Hello, I have a little bitty for you today, microblog reading from the first collection, upcoming collection, Musings from the Microblog 1.0 come out and play. And this microblog is called The E Word. And let's dive in. I was tired of calling myself an entrepreneur. My once revered title had now become the E word, dripping with an egotistical need to prove. The E word boasted the lifestyle image of a fresh millennial chilling under a palm tree with a laptop, sporting Ray-Bans, and sipping a Stella Artois while running a multi-million-dollar business in a 4-hour work week. The E word of the online business world encompassed email marketing, rote sales funnels, social media status, and manipulation. Sales tactics wrapped in a guise of service that injected lack into clients' minds. These were ways to puff ourselves up, trying to prove to people what we could do for them. What if we just showed up as we are and let them decide for themselves? How many times had I subscribed to an email, paid for a program, or prescribed to a blueprint, convinced that I needed this thing in order to succeed? How many decisions had I made in desperation and fear that I'd never make it? How much of my creativity had I blanketed when believing their way must be better? Could I wash away all the requirements of being an entrepreneur and just be myself? Just a person creating magic and enjoying my life along the way. Bam! Ooh, so this one, there's like so many facets of myself. There's like the health and food and holistic junkie side. There is the writer in me. There's the entrepreneur, and like they're all essential, components of who I am. And I have a much different perspective on a lot of these things over the years after being like really entrenched in these different worlds. And now that I'm really like approaching this from a writer standpoint, I've been able to step back and kind of see things in a bit of a different light. Like, for example, with entrepreneurship, for years, like off the tail end of what I call my 7-year blackout, it was a really shitty time in my life that was just marked by like addictions and like hard struggling personally. I went into this self-development junkie phase. And I went through this healing diet, so I got really into the health realm and, all these different food methodologies and became really strict with myself in that sense. I was also really pursuing entrepreneurship. I had had so many fucking crappy jobs with high stress, low pay, really not being appreciated the way that I wanted to be, but knowing that I really wanted something more for myself and I wanted to operate on my own, trying to figure out how to do that. I was doing freelance copywriting. I was trying to make it in the online business world, to be seen, to be heard, to get out there, to make an income. At one point I was working 2 jobs and still like banked below the poverty line that year. And, really like had a lot of ups and downs with it. And in the midst of that was someone who's trying to do this on their own, figure out the way, and just falling into everyone else's system. Like, my way is the way. This is the way to 6 figures. This is the system that'll basically be your success. And I realized that no one can actually give me that system. This system has to be my own, and it is my own, and my way is the way. And that, of course, affords, help and guidance from others that feels aligned, but always, always, always being my own number one guide, trusting myself, working in tandem with the universe to allow in the help that I need, and always using that, that inner guidance system to check with myself on if something feels right. And so that's something that I talk about in my first book that I'm writing right now, Trying to Make It, is that entrepreneurial time. And that, when you get into that, like, when you really are just wanting to make it, and you're pushing off your own intuition and your own guidance and ignoring the thing that is your gem, that is your masterpiece, that you love the most, that comes the easiest, because you're looking at everyone else's way. So it's about really closing the comparison channels. And the journey I went on last March of stepping away from my business into my life, stepped off everything, all production, all social media, like work-wise and personal-wise, cold turkeyed it all for 1 month that turned into 2. And I basically came out of that phoenix rising from the ashes, and, rebirthed myself as Elyse Hughes writer, which is, this person who has had all these entrepreneurial experiences and these health experiences, and realized that at the end of the day, my real mission, like my purpose for me, is just to really fall in love with myself in this lifetime, to share those experiences, primarily in writing, but all these other ways, in these videos with you, in my one-on-one work with people, in, every way, every book that I put out there, everything that I express is what that journey has been for me, because I don't know what that journey is for you. I will never be able to predict that or know that fully. You know that for yourself, and I hope that all of this really opens up that channel for you to really discover that and celebrate that for yourself, because that's where it's at, man. Like, the whole world just opens up, huge blossoms, when we just start fucking realizing how great we are, because we are so astronomically phenomenal. I could go on about this forever. The links are down below. Make sure to check them out. And I always include the link to the microblog too, because I personally do way better understanding something when I read it. Sometimes I like to mull it over, really experience it. So I leave the link to every microblog that I read down below. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.